So as you can see, X-Men 12 just pop up. You just saw X-Men 12.1 beta. If you ever found any issues with it in terms of updating, it will have been most likely in properties, and either you had read only, which I did initially and I had issues, but when I removed it and I pressed OK, then the installation went smoothly, and then everything updated. Here we are in the display, and we're gonna go into settings now. You see a few things that have been implemented. You see here, firstly, there's the use Zinc plugin bridge now available. In the X-Plane 11 version, there was the Vulkan rendering graphics, which was a bridge that connected from the OpenGL to be able to render the graphics better. Now we have the Zinc plugin, which basically does that for X-Plane 12. And you see Zinc is an alternative OpenGL graphics that can be used to work around cases of rendering issues like flickering cockpits and stuff like that. So that's gonna be very good that it's available now in X-Plane 12. And we see here there's a new feature here as well, which is the robust contrast adaptive sharpening, and we're gonna take a look at that as well. So most likely this, as it says, provides a way to increase the sharpness of the scene and can be useful to improve the readability of small text on small screens. So we're gonna have a look at that as well and see what differences does it makes. So here we are in default vanilla setup here in the Boeing 747 in X-Plane 12.1, and as you can see, it's no clouds at the moment. Everything is all default. One thing I'm gonna put is the view, and here you see this screenshot controls. And I've noticed when you move around, the depth of field, since it's on auto exposure, changes the lighting as you go in different angles. So that's pretty nice. So the next thing I notice is the sun looks a little bit more pronounced, and with this in this version, it looks a little bit more crisp, more bloom, I would say, as well. And yeah, the whole scene seems to be a little bit more better lighting, I would say. Looks a lot better. In my belief, it looks a lot better. The lighting, and also for the aircraft as well. See, there's now a lot more heat blur coming out of the aircraft, so that's pretty nice. That's pretty awesome as well. So I see a little bit more of a heat blur, looking a little bit more pronounced, I would say. But generally, the whole lighting and everything, the whole aesthetics, everything looks a little bit better, I would say, in this version. So we're gonna look at the clouds. Gonna get some weather and see how does that look. Let's see what happens if we, at the moment, with the winds at 24 and pretty gusty, a bit of turbulence, and yeah, the runway is pretty wet. So let's have a look and see what differences it makes. And right away, I would say the rain looks a little bit more pronounced, as they did say that the rain particles would be a little bit better. And I would say that it does look a little bit better, in my belief. Look. So let's see how, if I accelerate, and you can see in the back the frost. Look at the frost going all the way in the back. So you can see that more pronounced now, and being a little bit more realistic, I would say. One more thing we're gonna check on as well is we look at the lighting, and let's see how the lighting is. So I'm gonna go back and change everything back to clear. Just leave it on few clouds, and we're gonna just change the time. gonna put the time to about like set. So let's see how that looks. Right, that looks perfect, man. That looks wonderful. As you can see, the lighting looks a little bit more pronounced, and that's pretty awesome. So if I press Shift K, I can go back and forward the light, and you can see, look at the way the light looks, and that's pretty good, man. That's pretty awesome. The whole lighting and everything, how it looks. Let's put some more clouds and let's see how does that look. So let's put scattered. Probably might have to put broken instead. So let's put broken instead, and let's see how does that broken looks. Right. Okay, so here we see, and daylight. See, it looks a little bit more, I would say they try to make it look a little bit more pronounced, the whole difference in the lighting and everything. So that looks just a little bit more pronounced. Let's go back down again, and as you can see, the whole lighting changes and looks a little bit more pronounced. So that's pretty awesome, I would say. The night lights seems to be okay, and yeah, that's pretty nice, I would say. So many other things have changed as well. So many other features have also changed as well. So you have a little bit more or better icing effect. They say on the A330, the 737, the Citation, the XC90, and other things as well. You know, the Garmin 1000 is getting an update as well, with the ADS-B, you know, which shows traffic. So better traffic tracking location and stuff like that. Well, that's all I have for you guys for now. So do like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon as well, so that you don't miss out on any videos. This was just a short preview showing some features of the new Xpin 12.1, and I would say it does look exciting for most at the start, you know. So hopefully everything does work out, and as we know as well, it's also a beta, so you would expect when the official well, things to change probably along the way as well, since it's a beta. But everyone most likely gonna look at it and see how it is on their system. Any issues and stuff like that obviously will be reported. But like I said, guys, thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next one. See you guys. Bye bye.